Donald Trump has never been a man to whisper his opinions, and this time, he's turning his political spotlight straight onto Vladimir Putin. In a statement that has ricocheted through newsrooms, political circles, and online forums worldwide, Trump has proposed a brand new punishment for the Russian president. It's bold, it's controversial, and it's making even some of his closest allies raise their eyebrows. But here's the thing. This isn't just about one off-the-cuff remark at a rally. This is about years of political maneuvering, personal connections, and a complicated love-hate relationship between the 45th President of the United States and one of the most powerful men on earth. From public praise to harsh criticisms, from secret meetings to leaked transcripts, the Trump-Putin story is full of twists you wouldn't believe unless you saw them unfold. And today, we're going to walk you through exactly how we got here and what this new punishment might actually mean for the world. When Donald Trump first burst onto the political stage in 2015, few people thought his presidency would be defined by one foreign leader more than any other. But Vladimir Putin quickly became a recurring figure in the Trump era, sometimes as an ally in rhetoric, sometimes as an adversary in policy. It began with subtle nods during the campaign. Trump repeatedly praised Putin as a strong leader, drawing a sharp contrast to his criticism of then-President Barack Obama. This flattery was not one-sided. Putin, in interviews, called Trump colorful and talented, a move that Western media quickly dissected. By the time Trump was sworn in, the political climate was already supercharged with speculation about U.S. Russia relations. There were whispers, and then outright investigations, into whether the Kremlin had interfered in the 2016 U.S. election to help Trump win. Fast forward to today. Russia is deeply embroiled in its ongoing conflict with Ukraine, facing sanctions from the West, a weakened economy, and strained diplomatic relations. Meanwhile, Trump is once again in the political spotlight, campaigning for the presidency, holding rallies, and making statements that often grab more headlines than policy briefings from current officials. His latest comment, about a new punishment for Putin, comes at a time when U.S. Russia tensions are already at a boiling point. While the exact details of his proposal have yet to be implemented or even fleshed out into an official plan, the statement alone has ignited fierce debate. Supporters say it's proof Trump is willing to be tough on adversaries. Critics argue it's more bluster than strategy and could even backfire diplomatically. To understand why this particular remark has such weight, we need to rewind. Trump's relationship with Putin has been one of the most analyzed, criticized, and misunderstood political dynamics in modern history. On one hand, Trump often spoke warmly about the Russian leader, suggesting that having good relations with Moscow was a smart move. On the other hand, his administration did approve sanctions against Russia, expelled diplomats, and sold arms to Ukraine, actions that were decidedly anti-Kremlin. This duality made it nearly impossible for analysts to categorize Trump as either pro-Putin or anti-Putin. And perhaps that's exactly how Trump wanted it, keeping the narrative unpredictable and always in the headlines. Trump's latest proposal could be part of a larger strategy. With the 2024 election looming, he knows that strong foreign policy stances play well with certain voter bases. His public image thrives on projecting strength, whether in business negotiations, political debates, or international affairs. Donald Trump's latest remark about Vladimir Putin didn't come quietly. It was loud, deliberate, and designed to spark both curiosity and controversy. Speaking before a charged-up rally crowd, Trump leaned into the microphone and told his supporters that when he returns to the Oval Office, Putin will face a punishment like nothing he's ever seen before. Those few words instantly set off a political firestorm, not only in the United States, but across the globe. The mystery of what he meant became the headline of the day. News outlets scrambled to interpret the statement, analysts lined up to speculate, and social media became a battlefield of theories. The tone of Trump's delivery suggested confidence, but the vagueness of his words left room for every possible interpretation, from strategic economic measures to military gestures that could alter the balance of global power. Within hours, cable news was running nonstop loops of the clip, each network spinning it through their own editorial lens. Conservative commentators hailed it as evidence of Trump's willingness to stand firm against America's adversaries, a stark contrast to what they see as the Biden administration's calculated but cautious approach. Liberal analysts criticize the statement as reckless and dangerously ambiguous, warning that such words could destabilize delicate diplomatic processes already in motion. The ambiguity was part of the intrigue. Was this a campaign tactic to project strength without committing to a specific policy? Or was it a preview of a genuine foreign policy shift should he win back the presidency? The fact that nobody could say for certain only made the comment more magnetic in the news cycle. In Moscow, the Kremlin wasted no time crafting its own response. Through official channels, spokesman Dmitry Peskov dismissed Trump's threat as typical hostile rhetoric from Washington, while promising that Russia would respond decisively if such actions were ever taken. This played neatly into Putin's long-standing strategy of framing his leadership as a defense against Western aggression. Interestingly, while the Kremlin's official tone was combative, behind closed doors Russian political analysts reportedly debated whether Trump's remark was a serious policy indicator or merely a campaign flourish aimed at boosting his domestic support. The timing of Trump's statement is as important as its content. The war in Ukraine has entered a grinding phase, with no clear end in sight and both sides sustaining heavy losses. Western sanctions have already cut deep into Russia's economy, limiting its access to foreign capital, technology, and key markets. Yet, despite these measures, Russia has adapted in certain sectors, finding alternative trade partners and rerouting energy exports toward Asia. If Trump's new punishment were to materialize, it would have to be something far beyond the scope of current sanctions to have the kind of impact he promises. Experts have speculated about options ranging from a complete global energy embargo to targeted cyber offensives that could cripple critical Russian infrastructure. Allies in Europe reacted with characteristic caution. Officials in countries like Germany and France stressed the importance of coordination and unity before adopting any new punitive measures against Russia. They know that bold threats might strengthen Western resolve, but they also risk triggering unpredictable countermeasures from Moscow. Meanwhile, NATO leadership refrained from direct comment on Trump's words, instead reiterating the alliance's general commitment to defending member states and maintaining stability in Eastern Europe. This diplomatic restraint reflects the alliance's awareness that sudden escalations in rhetoric can spiral into real-world military or economic consequences. In Washington, the political implications were immediate. Trump's supporters praised his willingness to speak bluntly and project power, arguing that unpredictability can be a valuable diplomatic tool. His critics countered that ambiguity without substance only undermines credibility, both with allies and adversaries. The Biden administration seized on the remark as an opportunity to contrast Trump's talk with what they describe as Biden's measurable action, pointing to the coordinated sanctions and military aid packages already in place to support Ukraine. This war of narratives is as much about shaping voter perception as it is about actual foreign policy. History offers valuable lessons about moments like this. American presidents have a long tradition of making bold public statements toward foreign adversaries, but the outcomes vary widely. Ronald Reagan famously called the Soviet Union an evil empire before eventually sitting down for arms reduction talks. George W. Bush issued stern warnings to Saddam Hussein before launching the Iraq invasion. Barack Obama drew a red line over chemical weapons in Syria, but faced criticism when he stopped short of military action. Trump's current remark could fall anywhere along that spectrum, from rhetorical theater to a prelude to something far more concrete. Perhaps the most unpredictable element in this equation is Vladimir Putin himself. A seasoned political strategist and former KGB officer, Putin understands the nuances of both verbal threats and geopolitical signaling. If he perceives Trump's words as a credible risk, he may seek to preemptively open discreet back-channel communications to gauge the seriousness of the threat. On the other hand,